Hello there and welcome back. Tonight we will quietly immerse ourselves in the gentle science that flows within every serving of twisted tea, inviting you to settle in, take a calm breath, and let your mind drift as we explore the subtle interplay of tea leaves, sugar, and alcohol that create its recognizable flavor and composition, all while moving closer to a peaceful state of relaxation. To begin this calming journey, let us softly echo the idea of fall asleep with brewing knowledge, the gentle science of twisted tea's composition. Vertical bar twisted tea nutrition facts. As we open the bottle in our imagination, observing the amber-tinted liquid, catching the soft glow of evening light, resting on a simple kitchen countertop. This vantage point allows us to truly contemplate twisted tea's unique blend from the moment it is poured, noting the translucent hints of tea infusion and the subtle shimmer of fine bubbles, ready to release that gently sweet tang. In each 12-ounce serving, we find a blend that offers approximately 194 calories, around 26 grams of carbohydrates, and a modest 5% alcohol by volume. Yet those few statistics are only the starting point of an intriguing story of how these elements interact with our bodies and minds, and how they might quietly support or influence our experiences throughout an evening. Picture the tea aspect first. Derived from tea leaves that are carefully processed to maintain certain plant-based compounds known as antioxidants. These have captured the imagination of scientists and tea enthusiasts for many years. Even though the exact antioxidant potency in a finished twisted tea might vary depending on the brewing process and the subsequent addition of sugars, flavors, and alcohol, it is comforting to know that somewhere within that beverage lies a trace of the same beneficial components found in a cup of standard tea, a trace that can connect us on a sensory level to the centuries-old ritual of tea drinking around the world. Tea leaves begin as fresh young leaves from the tea plant, which are then typically dried, oxidized, or otherwise processed to capture the distinctive flavors we associate with black tea. In twisted tea, the black tea essence offers a certain depth, carrying hints of earthy smoothness and a subdued bitterness that is balanced by added sweeteners, resulting in an experience that is neither as mild as a purely sweet beverage, nor as harsh as a strong alcoholic drink. It sits between worlds, a little nod to tea's comforting warmth, and a little nudge towards the liveliness that mild alcohol can provide. When we consider the sugar content, roughly 26 grams of carbohydrates per 12 ounces, we can visualize the gentle swirl of sweetness dissolving into the tea base, sweetening each subsequent sip in a way that many find refreshingly light, albeit with a distinct sugary presence. That sugar, of course, contributes to the calorie total, bringing the beverage up to 194 calories per bottle, noticeably more than many non-alcoholic teas or artificially sweetened drinks, yet still modest enough for those who are consciously balancing their intake in a relaxed and mindful fashion. Sugar alone, however, does more than supply a sweet flavor and additional calories. It also plays a role in how the beverage interacts with our brains and bodies, offering quick energy that the body can metabolize into glucose. A portion of that glucose might be swiftly shuttled where it's needed for short bursts of activity, or stored later in the form of glycogen, while another portion could make its way toward long-term energy reserves if not used immediately. That interplay becomes more apparent as your body's metabolism continues into the evenings, gradually passing out the energy from that 12-ounce bottle, ensuring that every last component finds its place. Meanwhile, the star of the show for some is the 5% alcohol content, a level that can make twisted tea a mild but noticeable presence in social gatherings or personal relaxation rituals. Alcohol, once ingested, is absorbed primarily through the upper gastrointestinal tract, passing into the bloodstream where the body prioritizes its metabolism above many other nutrients. The liver, the steadfast organ that it is, starts breaking down that alcohol using specific enzymes, with a substantial portion eventually converted into acetaldehyde and further into less harmful byproducts to be sent along the metabolic route. Because alcohol can imbue a sense of warmth and mild euphoria for certain people, sampling twisted tea might provide a subtle convivial lift alongside its sweetness. Nevertheless, gentle reminders of moderation are relevant if you choose to appreciate a second or third serving, especially if you have tasks at hand, because alcohol's presence can influence cognition and reaction time. Yet tonight in our serene reflection, we focus not on cautionary advice, but on the gentle interplay of flavors, the swirl of sweet tea essence, and the comforting knowledge that we can listen, learn, and drift off to a peaceful place as we unravel the quiet science of our beverage. Let your mind meander through the process that begins with a carefully brewed tea base. The tea leaves after harvest are washed and prepared. Oxidation of the leaves leads to characteristic black tea or something akin to a hearty brew that can endure the presence of sweetness and other additional flavors. Once the tea is brewed, it develops a deep hue, sometimes reminiscent of a warm amber or a clouded gold, depending on the exact ratio of water to tea. This color signals the presence of polyphenolic compounds which tea aficionados often celebrate. These compounds, while sometimes studied for their antioxidant potential, also contribute subtle astringency, dryness or bitterness that the sugar in twisted tea offsets. Slowly swirl that image in your mind: a brewed tea, smooth yet slightly strong, tempered by just the right amount of sweetness. A whisper of lemon or other citrus flavoring might ring through in certain variations, adding yet another dimension to the beverage's inviting fragrance. Next comes the alcohol infusion, introduced to the tea to produce that 5% by volume measure, a level that sits on par with many light beers or ready-to-drink cocktails. Mix the tea base, the sugar, the alcohol, and any additional flavor notes. The result is the distinct product you see in your local store or in front of you on a casual weekend. Though many enjoy twisted tea chilled, you can reimagine it slowly warming on a softly lit countertop, where its interplay of flavors might evolve in the air, releasing a sweet, faintly floral aroma reminiscent of sweet tea from a lazy summer afternoon. As we continue this quiet exploration, notice how our bodies handle these components after the first few sips. The sugar enters the bloodstream, prompting a cascade of signals that help distribute glucose to cells, fueling muscles, or simply drifting into storage if the immediate energy demand is low. Simultaneously, the subtle presence of tea-derived compounds might remind the body of the countless cups of tea that have come before it through time, bridging tradition and contemporary convenience in a single beverage. The alcohol soon knocks softly on the door of the liver, where it is ushered in for processing, ensuring that little by little the beverage's effects gently subside as the minutes pass. This interplay forms the tapestry of your twisted tea experience, bridging the simple knowledge about calories, carbs, and alcohol content to the deeper complexities of biochemical pathways that quietly unfold within us. Some might detect a trace of caffeine in twisted tea, as black tea typically contains mild amounts of it, though the final caffeine concentration in twisted tea may be lower than a strong cup of tea or coffee due to the brewing and dilution process. Nevertheless, that trace caffeine can impart a gentle awakening effect for some, while for others the effect is so minimal that it barely registers, especially compared to morning coffee or higher caffeine beverages. In the calm hush of an evening environment, we can appreciate that every little component plays its part, yet does so in a way that can coax us to rest or gently socialize with friends under warm lighting. Because twisted tea also contains water naturally present in the tea itself, it can help maintain some level of hydration, though the diuretic effect of alcohol can sometimes offset that hydration to a degree. Thus, it can be quietly beneficial to pair your twisted tea with a glass of water, especially if you plan on more than one refreshing bottle. Consider the journey of a single sip. It meets your lips, transferring that sweet yet faintly tannic flavor onto your taste buds, allowing your sense of smell to connect with your sense of taste, capturing those summery tea notes. As you swallow, the sugar and alcohol travel together, moving toward the stomach, then crossing into the bloodstream. That sugar might offer a brief energy spike that can be felt as a mild upward lift in mood or vigor, while the alcohol can produce a calm relaxation for some. Meanwhile, the residual notes of tea may dance on the palate, reminding you that this beverage, despite containing alcohol, is still grounded in the comforting realm of a good cup of tea. Letting your attention rest on that moment, you might appreciate how each ingredient adds nuance to the final experience, how a beverage can carry layers of flavor and effect in a single seamless sip. Perhaps we can recall the importance of moderate sugar consumption as well, given that 26 grams of carbohydrates is not insignificant for those watching daily sugar intake. It is interesting to consider that sugar can be a source of quick energy, a characteristic that can be pleasant during daytime or early evening gatherings, but something that one might want to account for if working to reduce overall sugar consumption. In some ways, that sweetness completes the product's taste profile, striking a balance with the black tea's natural bitterness to create a drink that stands at a crossroad between sweet comfort and a lightly tart sensation. Alcohol, functioning here as ethanol, also influences how quickly your body diverts metabolic attention from fats or sugar to processing that alcohol first, because the body treats alcohol as a compound that must be metabolized rapidly. This is a built-in protective mechanism, ensuring that you can handle moderate amounts of alcoholic beverages, but also highlighting the principle that if you combine drinks like twisted tea with particularly large or sugary meals, your overall energy intake for the evening can rise above what your body can comfortably manage, particularly if repeated on a regular basis. Still, in a calm, balanced approach to enjoyment, we step back and appreciate the gentle synergy, acknowledging that twisted tea is as much about an experience as it is about nutritional elements. And what about the presence of antioxidants in twisted tea derived from tea leaves? Polyphenols such as catechins or flavonoids may exist in relatively small amounts in the final product, each with potential protective properties that researchers have studied in standard tea. Yet the additional sugar and alcohol might change the net effect compared to pure tea alone, meaning we can't necessarily look at twisted tea as a health elixir. Nonetheless, the subtle presence of those tea-derived compounds can still contribute to taste and color, adding depth to the beverage that sets it apart from other ready-to-drink offerings. The sugar, while it might tamp down some astringency, allows that comforting familiarity of sweet tea to emerge. Meanwhile, the bubbliness or light carbonation in certain versions of twisted tea gently lifts those flavors to your nose, letting you savor them with each breath. Picture how the surface of the liquid might shimmer slightly in the gentle light, releasing a sweet aromatic blend that hints of summertime relaxation or a momentary escape from the rush of the day. Now if we imagine ourselves watching the beverage rest on the countertop, noticing how the label might emphasize the twisted nature of the tea, we can tune into the layers of meaning behind the marketing, an invitation toward a carefree enjoyment that twists a traditional tea into something slightly playful and mildly spirited. Yet behind that playful image, there is a quiet scientific story of organic compounds, biochemical pathways, and centuries of tea culture all merging into one bottle. The moment we crack open that bottle, we are bridging the past when tea was carefully cultivated, dried and steeped for centuries, to the present, in which a mainstream bottled beverage can be picked up in nearly any corner store. We might, in our reflective state, imagine the fields where tea leaves sprout, the careful plucking of those leaves at specific times to ensure just the right composition of flavors, and the subsequent path those leaves take as they are transported, processed, and ultimately directed into the facility where twisted tea is brewed and bottled. The sugar, whether derived from cane or other sources, also has its own backstory, quietly traversing from sugarcane fields or sugar beet processing plants until it meets the tea and forms those sweet bonds. Alcohol, created through fermentation, arrives to mingle with sugar and tea, weaving itself seamlessly into the beverage. Each element has a tale, culminating in a moment of purposeful union. This is how the composition of twisted tea stands as more than numbers on a nutrition label. It is a tapestry of agricultural and biochemical synergy. When we examine the 194 calories, we can consider what that might look like in terms of everyday life, a gentle stroll for a few minutes, or the energy used by the body simply to sustain us in times of rest. Those 194 calories remind us that all beverages contain more than just taste, they hold tangible energy. Savoring that knowledge can help us to approach our beverage consumption mindfully, acknowledging the interplay between what we take in and what our bodies ultimately do with it. The 26 grams of carbohydrates can provide a sweet rush, balanced by the tang of alcohol and the deep hum of black tea notes. This synergy might appeal to those who enjoy sweet beverages, but yearn for a slight deviation from standard soda flavors, as the tea's mild bitterness brings complexity to the sweetness. Meanwhile, the 5% alcohol content offers a soft sense of relaxation, an invitation to unwind at the end of a day, or create a gentle bridging moment between active tasks and the hush of night. As your thoughts drift toward how your body processes these nutritional components, you might also consider the role of enzymes in metabolizing both sugar and alcohol. For sugar, enzymes in the mouth and intestine break down carbohydrates into simpler sugars, eventually glucose, which cells can then absorb with the help of insulin. For alcohol, the enzyme alcohol dehydrogenase begins its work in the stomach and liver, converting ethanol to acetaldehyde, before further enzymes such as aldehyde dehydrogenase convert acetaldehyde into acetate, which can be used for energy under certain metabolic circumstances. Although it might sound complicated, your body performs these tasks with ease behind the scenes, letting you simply experience the flavors and the mild sense of warmth that might follow a bottle or two. Of course, for those who consume more than moderate amounts, the body can grow overwhelmed, leading to more pronounced effects, but that is a discussion for another time and place. Tonight is about a gentle lull, the comforting swirl of knowledge that each sip of twisted tea is quietly orchestrating a symphony of chemical interactions within us all. In this warm evening light, you might find the gentle hum of a home environment softly reinforcing the idea that twisted tea can be one small addition to an evening warm-down routine. Some people might choose to pair it with a savory meal, allowing the sweetness to contrast with salty or spicy dishes. Others might slowly nurse a chilled bottle while chatting with friends, letting each sip punctuate the conversation with a hint of sweetness. Still others might discover that the relaxing nature of mild alcohol content, combined with the symbolic comfort of tea, fosters a sense of nostalgia or positivity. It can be worthwhile to consider the beverage's color and aroma, noticing the slight variations between different bottles or varieties of twisted tea that might incorporate fruit infusions like peach or half and half lemon flavors, each adjusting the sugar, carb content or taste to create new experiences. Even though the fundamental nutrition facts remain near that standard 126 grams of carbs and 5% alcohol by volume, these variations can highlight unique perfume-like aromas or aftertastes that steadily invite your attention. Within the swirl of sugar, tea, and alcohol lies a reflection of how beverages have historically occupied a special place in social bonding and individual rituals across cultures. Tea, in particular, has long represented a calming presence for reflection and conversation. With twisted tea, that tradition meets the modern flair of convenience and a mild alcoholic twist, resulting in a beverage that can play different roles across different social moments or quiet personal evenings. As you let that knowledge drift through your thoughts, perhaps you notice the calming effect of focusing on the detail and nuance of a single beverage, how that focus can be a meditative anchor. One might swirl the bottle slightly, noticing the wave of tiny bubbles that lightly cling to the glass, capturing the soft glimmer of the inlet, while a gentle trickle of condensation forms on the outside, suggesting the beverage is chilled and prepared for a refreshing sip. That sip can be a doorway to deeper awareness of how these ingredients converge in your body, fueling certain processes, nudging mood and carrying you forward on a path of mild relaxation. As the minutes turn to the cusp of bedtime, twisted tea's presence can gradually recede in your system. The sugar slowly used, the alcohol gently processed, and the essence of tea leaving a faint trace of flavor and memory on your palate. All the while you can drift in the comfort of knowing that behind each bottle is a delicate interplay of agriculture, chemistry and culinary craft, culminating in those simple numbers on the label that we began discussing. We recognize that 194 calories, 26 grams of carbohydrates, and 5% alcohol by volume are just a tip of the iceberg when it comes to the full experience of twisted tea. Yet knowing with some detail how these components find their way into your bloodstream, how they might lift or calm your system, and how the essence of tea weaves throughout it, can deepen appreciation for a beverage that might otherwise be consumed without reflection. In this moment, allow yourself to lean into a sense of gentle curiosity, satisfied, a cozy delight in having illuminated the signs within the bottle. Memories of your own experiences with tea, whether iced on a sunny day or warm on a rainy afternoon, may blend with a subtle sweetness, bridging the gap between ancient practice and modern convenience. The hush of the evening can accompany that sense of continuity, helping you settle into a more peaceful state, content with the knowledge that you have gleaned new insight into these everyday elements that so often go unnoticed. And so in this quiet space we've traced twisted tea's journey, from the fields of tea leaves to the sweet swirl of sugar, from the subtle presence of antioxidants to the gentle warmth of 5% alcohol.
from each sip sparking momentary pleasure in the palate to the orchestrated metabolic processes that silently unfold long after the bottle is empty. We have reached a fuller understanding that might help us continue to enjoy twisted tea responsibly and mindfully, embracing the clarity that comes from knowing exactly what we're taking in. As our time together here draws to a close, we can let our minds sink into the stillness and calm that emerges when we feel our curiosity has been met and our questions answered, letting the reassuring tempo of our own breaths guide us toward rest. Taking a final breath of the air, feeling settled in the knowledge that we have gently unpacked the science behind twisted tea's composition, bridging flavor, function and tradition in a soothing narrative. When you next encounter a bottle of twisted tea on your countertop, perhaps you will recall a fraction of this exploration. Maybe you will see that soft shimmer of tea leaves speaking across centuries, or sense the interplay of sugar fueling your evening's final conversation, or simply rest quietly in the knowledge that a moderate and mindful approach to nourishment can be as gentle as a favorite lullaby. Thank you for lending your ear to this soothing exploration of twisted tea nutrition facts and the subtle interplay of tea, sugar and alcohol within our bodies, and may these thoughts accompany you into a serene and restful sleep. Good night and sweet dreams.